I'm Coach Mack Brown, head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels, and I'm chopping it up with Buck.
I'm excited for this episode of Chopping It Up with Buck. It started in the pandemic, Coach, when we were all kind of huddled up. Kevin and I started talking to my producer. I said, hey, I just want to get together with friends that I've coached with, played with, just known over the years. And that was the genesis of this episode of these shows. And one of the people that I said initially, I said, we got to get Coach Brown on. All the years I've interacted with you, spent time in Austin. My mom always asks, hey, how's Coach Brown? Because, I'm a Texas kid. Had you been at Texas or anywhere else, I might have.
We wouldn't let you get out of state. Without question, but I'm so honored you'd have me on.
Yeah, so tell us about and the thing is, we can go a lot of different ways, but what I like with you is, I talked to Dwight Howyer last night, and the one thing I said, Coach knows how to just go in almost any living room, make people feel comfortable. When you come in here, everybody that's in here just relaxes. Where did that come from? Who in your family gave you that ability just to make people at ease?
Charles, my granddad.
Okay.
He was the love of my life. Okay. He was the winningest high school football coach in Middle Tennessee history. He was an avid fisherman, bass fisherman in the local lakes, and he never ever walked by somebody without stopping and smiling and hugging and asking about them. Yeah. And he always told me, as long as you're happy and you make other people happy, make other people smile, because he was a pleaser and I'm a pleaser. And he said, and as long as you always do what you know is the right thing to do, your life will be good, because you can lay down and sleep every night and think that you gave people joy and that you always did what was right. Yeah. And that's just what I try to do.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up. My grandfather, my mom's dad, I was close to him growing up. After a while, she was a single mom, but I spent a lot of time with him. My dad's father, close to him as well. And the thing that they were great at is storytelling. And you probably still relay those stories to the kids now, in this day and age.
We do, but we didn't have cell phones.
Yeah.
we didn't have iPads. We didn't have computers.
Yeah.
And the phone you had to ring and ask Mabel to get somebody to. But I do think that that's something that we've got to get back to. Yeah. This generation needs to be storytellers.
Yeah. Yeah.
They need to get off their addiction of that phone and get to communicate. I see our players sitting in a team meeting, everybody's looking down. I see 3 players walking down the road or students walking, they're not talking to each other, they're texting each other, and they're walking next to each other. But
they have great stories to tell, having a 28 and a 23-year-old, so I agree with you.
They do.
When they can do that. But even with that, no matter where you've been able to work through that and connect with the kids, no matter what age. I mean, I can remember the stories about you at Texas with Vince Young and the team there. With this team and this young nucleus of UNC folks, how have you been able to relate to them and just be in that phone with them or do the things that they like to do?
Well, Charles, I loved TV. Okay. I needed a team. And after you lose your team at Texas, you need another one. Yeah. And my buddies we laugh to this day. Booger and Jonathan Vilma and Kevin Nagandi and these guys, Rob Blimley, we're all on a text chain together. And I forgot I got an Apple Watch on my first game last year, 2 years ago with Syracuse. They said, gosh, your team looks awful. And I'm looking down at my watch because I felt it buzz. And I said, you can't be texting me during the game telling me my team looks awful. Give me a break here. But what I missed is the purpose. Mm-hmm. And my purpose is mentoring kids. Okay. That's what I do best. Yeah. And that's what God gave me the gift to do. Mm-hmm. And to do that, I've got to learn from the kids. Yeah. And as bad as COVID's been, I've learned so much from these kids because we had to.
What did you learn the most out of that experience? Because
I learned that you have to be really direct with them. We 3 weeks we came back with COVID and we didn't have any. And then all of a sudden, the offensive lineman decided to go eat without telling us. They went downtown to a restaurant. They brought it back on Friday, and on Monday, we've got 37 COVID cases, and we're shutting down practice. Yeah. So I had my little meetings. Okay, we're going to talk about facts here. The basketball bubble worked. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I can go fish. I can go play golf. They're going to pay me anyway. So if you don't want to play, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fight you, but if you want to play, get your bubble. You can't go to parties. You can't go to bars. You can't go eat dinner. This got to be us. We didn't have another guy with COVID because they learned, they listened, they wanted to do that. And then social injustice. I grew up in the 60s.
Okay.
I saw Selma. I saw Meredith at Ole Miss and all the police officers. And you know, as a young kid in my early teens, I was sitting there watching all this confused. And then I saw President Johnson with all the programs and wondered why this white man would reach out to the South and help with all the people of color. So we're sitting there with the Floyd situation, the Breonna Taylor situation, and seeing a guy get in his car get shot in the back 7 times with his children watching. And then I'm seeing all the pro teams protesting. So I've got our guys up at 6:30 one morning, and I said, okay, what do we do? Help me.
Because you went to the situation and not from the situation.
I did. I said, this is awful. I said, we all know it's awful. We all saw it. I don't know what's going to happen. Politics is split. Race is split more than ever before. So help me. What do you think?
Did you have a collective group of players that said, Coach, I can help you. If you really want to help or understand, here's what we have to do.
We had a leadership committee, and I said the white guys on the team are the minority. So we got to help them too. So we started with the N-word. I said, do you use the N-word to a player of color? And he says, yeah, I sing the songs all the time. I said, well, so what if the white guy sings the N-word in the songs? He said, I don't like it. I don't want him doing it. And I said, well, he doesn't know that. How's he supposed to know what he's supposed to say? He's singing your song. He's singing with you. And now you're mad at him. So we voted as a team that the word was very divisive. It divided our team, so let's don't use it. So we don't use it. We took it out of songs. We took it out of everything. And then we're sitting there, and we have a leadership committee, and I asked them, but Michael Carter, running back now for the Jets, stepped up more than anybody else, and I said, okay, what do you want to say? What do you want to do? Help me. I don't know what to do. Are we going to practice? Are we going to protest? What are we going to do? And Michael Carter said, Coach, we can't do anything. And I said, what do you mean? He said, because we're black. I want to be drafted. I can't make teams mad because I'm standing up and talking about racial injustice and social injustice. He said, none of us can. We can't do it. And then I sat down, we had a white coach and a black coach that were best friends, and they hadn't spoken for 2 days. I said, what's this about? And they said, I'm uncomfortable. I don't know what to say. And I said, well, we got to be able to discuss differences. So talk to me. Tell me what's wrong. Why can't you talk? So we spent an hour and a half in a staff meeting and talked about it. And then the coaches said, we can't speak either. We're not LeBron James. We got to have jobs. We can't make our top boosters mad, Coach. We can't speak. I said, so I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do it. You tell me what you want to say, and I'll say it for you. I'll do it. And they said, you can't do that. And I said, yeah, I can, because it's the right thing to do. And then I said, so you tell me what you want. And then Michael Carter's the world said, why don't you tell us what you think? I said, I'm white. I said, white privilege. I thought white privilege meant me. I got money. I said, I get stopped by that police officer. He's going to ask me, how's the quarterback situation? And can we go to dinner? And how's the team? I'm not worried about him arresting me or me getting shot.
Over the years, no matter how many times I've been called an M-word, it's not going to make me hate a Mack Brown or somebody else, a Terry Donahue, who I knew was in my corner. But what it's going to do is if I can say this, Coach, this upsets me, and you say, hey, what can we do about it? That's not right, what you're doing. That's the part, to me, that I think resonates with the kids, with the coaches, and if the boosters like it or don't, you know how to work with that too as well.
Well, Charles, what we did, we took our director of communications and I, Jeremy Sharp, and we asked every player, black and white, what do you think? What do you want to say? We put it in a 6-minute video, and I played it to them, and they said, you can't do that. And I said, that's my job. My job's to say what's right and make it public and try to help. And I sent it to the administration. I said, I'm sending this out, but I want you to know it before I send it out. And it was wonderful, because it was the right thing to do. And our players know that. And where I missed it, and this is why I'm so excited about learning at 70. Because they say you can't relate to kids at 70, If you've got experiences like I've got, the thing they worry about is, do you have energy?
Yeah.
It's 70. If you got experiences and energy, you can do this. Now, if you're too old and too tired to get up every morning, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But the young guys with energy, if I can match that energy and have experiences, it's a home run for them. So what I did is I said, here's what I missed. And I went back through the 60s. I showed them headlines. I showed them what I remember as a kid. And I said, so sometimes history repeats itself. And I said, it's your responsibility to change it. My group didn't. I thought we did, but we didn't. We obviously didn't. Yeah. And I said, what I missed, and I hate this, but I don't know that I could have done it any different, is the locker room is the safest and best place in the country in sports. What I missed was when the guys left the locker room, there was more prejudice outside for a young man of color than there was me. And I'd hear it from my friends, well, I don't want my son to drive till, I'm nervous, and I'd think, I don't know, it's real. And we've seen it real, and I missed it. I had a friend tell me once that if I walk in and I'm a person of color and you walk in the store, they're going to watch me. They're going to let you go where you want because they're afraid I'm going to steal. And he said, all that's insulting. So I heard it, but it didn't resonate. Yeah. And that's what this last couple of years has helped me so much, because I get it. Yeah. I get it big and strong now, and I'm going to be an advocate to make it where at some point in our lives, color will not matter. And we need to get it where people care about what's right. And that's all that matters.
So the biggest thing is you're at a point now where you've had recruiting success. You did the same thing at Texas, you're doing it here at UNC. What's the next step for you as a coach to get this program to that level? Because you were here when you were 1-10, and then you guys took off on a rocket ship before, right? Natron means, some of these guys that I know now, and they're looking like me, we broke down, but we still have great minds of the game, but great players for you. You're starting to see that again. What is it about this group of young men and the history link, the Tommy Thigpens, the Dre Bly's that you brought back, all these guys, Coach Chiswick that we'll talk about a little bit. What is it that's going to help you get to that next step here at UNC?
We inherited a team that won 5 games in 2 years. Okay. They had beaten one Power 5 team over those 2 years. It was Pittsburgh. They beat them twice. Okay. Didn't know how to win, frustrated, beat down, embarrassed, no fans in the stands. So people forget how bad it was 3 years ago. And then the first year, we far exceed expectations. We win 7, win a bowl game. Should have won, could have won 9, very easily. Lost 2 overtime games, but we exceeded expectations. Second year, you go to the Orange Bowl for the first time in 71 years. So you could have beaten Florida State last drive, could have beaten Virginia last drive, but you still win 8 games. You go to the Orange Bowl, have a chance without your 4 best players to beat Texas A&M. So things are good. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, what I see, Charles, and it's just now hitting me because I've tried hard to figure out what happened last year. Number one, we were picked 8th in the country without deserving it, because we lost 4,200 yards of offense. Yeah. And they're all playing in the NFL. They're all really good. And every time I watch them, it makes me sick that they're gone. And then we had some guys who were so satisfied over the 2 years and read the headlines and believed it all, and we got some entitlement. Okay. And we just I didn't do as good a job keeping my thumb on everything. We didn't have the edge last year we had the first 2 years. Okay. So I've told the guys, we've got really good talent. We've recruited well, and we look really pretty getting off the bus. It's my job to make sure you can't do anything but win. Gotcha. And that's what we're doing right now. We are all over it. We've made some coaching changes.
Coach, when we talked about that when you came in, Coach Chiz, a great teacher, I've been around him. Yeah. You guys all, whenever we got together and talked, I was, like I told you, you're an offensive guy like me, and you're, that's what you came in the game with. But man, just listening to him talk about football and how the angles and different things, I bet you the guys, that's resonating with these young guys, isn't it?
They love it.
Yeah.
They love it there, and he brings in Charlton Moran. Well, I knew of Charlton. I didn't know Charlton. Charlton grows up in a tough household in Atlanta.
Okay.
He goes to Air Force. He's an Air Force graduate. He's a 10-year Special Forces hero. Wow. He was dropping drones and shooting drones over in Iraq.
Yeah.
So he's not scared of Clemson or Florida State.
Nothing's gonna bother him.
No.
Hey, look, Coach. I heard the recruiting wars. It's like, this all you got for me?
No, yeah. I get to eat. I don't get shot at. I may have to answer some tough questions.
Yeah.
So when Gene came, he wanted to bring him with him, and I said, okay. He's been a home run. So those two, along with Dre Bly and Tim Cross and Tommy Thigpen, that I knew and had history with, and Gene was, he's won a national championship with me as assistant. He won a national championship at Auburn as a head coach. So how many of those are hanging around? And I told him, he's stupid like me. You left TV to come back.
Well, y'all gonna make me leave TV and come hang out with y'all.
Excuse me. But there's no question. He's pumped, he's excited, and the kids are buying in. So it's a lot of fun. And I worry, Charles, in your and my years as players, they taught. We slowed down. There were fundamentals. Now we're talking about fast. Everybody got to go fast.
How do you teach and coach in a fast era? I mean, and it can happen, but you have to have you go too fast, you miss some of the things, right, Coach? I mean, that's what I see when I watch practice now.
100%. And if you're going to go fast, you better slow down and teach.
Yes.
And instead of that, we're saying, wear them down, wear them down. Why don't we block them? Why don't we take on blocks and create an edge? And that's what I see Gene teaching. Eye control, body control, leverage, keeping an edge on a defense. How to tackle, how to pass rush. He's all over the fundamentals every minute of every day. And like me, and like you've been for years, I took 5 years, and all I did is got a doctorate degree in coaching. I watched everybody.
You went to go travel and get to see. What did you learn in that time period? Because it's always interesting, you know, when Tommy Tuberville came around, when any of the guys that came into ESPN or ESPNU, to hear them talk about what they learned from where they were before to now. What was it that you took away from those years where you were out of ball?
I learned a lot of teams don't show up on Saturday, which is embarrassing. And that's what got me last year. We were an inconsistent team. I can't coach an inconsistent team because that's a reflection of me. And I'm not inconsistent. So I'm going to make sure we don't ever do that again. I learned that more games are lost than won. Because when you don't show up, you fumble, you have mistakes, you have blocked punts, and everybody says, they didn't play well. No, they weren't prepared to play. They didn't have the energy to play, and that's when you drop passes and have offsides and all the things that happen. And then thirdly, you better be good at something. Because we got so many people now that are trying to overcoach, so they get everywhere and they got so many things, they're not good at anything.
The power of three, right, Coach? If you just have three things you can relate to people all the time, and they know, right? You might have a fourth, but if they don't know those three things, you as a coach knows that. I know that from playing and being in business. If I don't help people with these three things, I'm not getting anything.
We had Dwayne Crutchfield at Iowa State, and we were running him a whole lot, and I had a young coach that was a friend of mine at another school, and he said, you know, you have a real tendency with Dwayne Crutchfield. And I said, thank you. We got something we can do. And then you use play action off of it and all the other things. But I think that's what we do. We do too much. We're going too fast. And we're not teaching as much as we used to. Get the ball to the best players. Do what your players can do best. Don't be pass rushing a guy who can't pass rush. He don't get there. So we got a blitz, but that linebacker can't get there. Well, don't blitz. Drop him. It's so simple.
So offensively, I know there was some turnover in the offensive line position, but it seems like Jack Bignell Jr. coming in has really helped solidify, if people know that name. His dad was a longtime coach, been around the game. Offensive line coaches, when you hear their names, you say, oh, okay, I can tell his lineage. Was in the league for 7 years. He was with Coach Longo before, so I think that's a match. Tell me what you've seen with him so far, because the players are saying, man, he reminds me of Homer Smith when he clicks the tape over and over and over again.
He's a home run. He's a coach's kid, which I love. Yeah. He's a longtime head coach at Louisiana Tech, so he knows my seat.
I got you.
He knows all the problems I've got. One of his goals is to keep his out of my office because he knows I got a lot. And then every kid wants to be in the NFL. Mm-hmm. So we hired a guy with 7 years experience to teach them exactly what it's going to be like when you get to the NFL. Yeah. And he's got energy, he's fun. I love his dad. He says, I was a center on that team with Doug Flutie that threw the Hail Mary against Miami, and he said, and don't watch it closely, I missed my guy. And that's why Doug was falling back. But,
I've heard that story.
He got humor, he's got energy, but the man's a teacher. And I'm really impressed. I really like what he's bringing to the table.
But you know what was interesting, though? And I got to give Kevin Donnelly a lot of credit for you to call him in, because Kevin is a great teacher. I've been around Kevin in Charlotte. I know him. That had to help the kids also, because even if you can get an interim guy like Kevin to come in and help just hold the fort, they're going to learn good fundamentals. They're going to learn how to play the game. And you talk about another guy that's a teacher and a great Tar Heel.
Yeah, you know, Charles, one of the things that I've learned over years of coaching, and it's where the experience comes in, you've got to be ready for every situation. Mm-hmm. Whatever comes up, you can't say they put us in a tough spot. So Stacy Searles leaves the day before spring practice. That's not good.
Yeah.
So at 10:30 on Sunday night, I get a call and said I'm leaving and going to Georgia, and I had no clue. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying, okay, we got practice Tuesday. So what do? Do I move practice back? Do I, and then you've got finals and you got other things, and we've already got the schedule set with ACC Network for the spring game, so I can't do that. I meet with the kids the next morning at 7 o'clock, and I said, hey, guys leaving. I got it. It's not good. I got it. I'm going to handle it for you. I got a list of 10 offensive line coaches, and I know who I'm going to hire when somebody's gone. And I want to do as good or better with every one of them. And I've told these kids, don't you ever blink when somebody leaves. Okay. Because I'm going to get you somebody good. And I said, that's one good thing about being experienced and knowing everybody.
Everybody knows you, yeah.
10:30 that morning, I called Scott Satterfield and said, can I talk to Jack? 1 o'clock, I interviewed Jack on Zoom. He had his first spring practice with Louisville that afternoon. I hired him that night. I got him in here for Thursday's practice. Wow. So you've got to be prepared. But I needed Kevin to do Tuesday's practice, and Kevin knows them all. He's been around them all. He's a 13-year NFL guy. I said, so guys, you're going to get taught by a 13-year NFL guy while we're getting you a coach. And then Jack was a perfect fit because he coached with Larry Porter in this offense at Auburn. He coached with Longo at Ole Miss. Yeah. He loves Longo and Larry. He loves the offense. It was an easy transition.
So you had that list, and it worked out for you. Now you have what you need. What else do you have to do to get this team moving in the right direction and competing for an ACC championship?
Get them to play hard every day. We're using the St. Peter's story that everybody's using. This morning, I talked to them about does ratings matter? Yeah. We got a 15 playing an 8. Yeah. Never happened before. There's never been a 15 in the Elite 8. So does that mean all the media is wrong? Does that mean all the people that picked the polls are wrong? Yeah. So we were picked 8 last year. We weren't. We'll be picked 28 this year. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Be who you are. Yeah. But what we need to do is quit talking about what we're going to do and play to a standard every day. Yeah. So every day that we practice, it's a game, and we've started grading them like a game.
Competing, competition.
You've got to compete, and if you don't like to compete, this game's not going to work. It's not going to work, and you decide who plays or not. So don't miss practice. Don't be sick. Don't be in a position where you don't know what to do, and then say, my bad, I had a bad day. No, we lose. Yeah. You can't have bad days. St. Peter's hadn't had a bad day. No. Kentucky had a bad day. Yeah. Purdue had a bad day. Not St. Peter's. I had to Google them and find out who they were.
Well, I got to say this as we kind of come to a close. Why did y'all have to beat my Bruins last night?
That's what you love is to compete. And about the time you think something's easy, it's not. Yeah. It's just not. So you got to compete every minute of every day, and that's why you love sports so much. I hate the fact that UCLA played so good last night, but they lost, so they're losers.
Yeah.
And they're in the Sweet 16. They've had a great year, but you don't walk out of there feeling that way. Yeah. Whoever put a scoreboard out there really was a burden for us, because there's a winner and a loser. And it doesn't matter if it's a last-second shot or you get beat by 25, you lost.
That's true.
And I hate that, but I just love sports. I love watching kids compete. Sally, my wife Sally said, Middle Tennessee's playing Central Michigan on Tuesday night, and you're the only one in the country watching.
I'm watching.
Except the parents.
No, I watch it. If I'm not calling the game, I'm actually going to watch it, because I love to see the competition. Well, Coach, we do a 2-minute drill. I'm going to get you out of here. I know you got to go get ready to get these guys going. And just rapid fire questions.
Okay.
First thing that comes to mind, answer it. Grits or oatmeal?
Oatmeal.
Okay. Why oatmeal?
Healthier, great breakfast, gets you started, doesn't beat you down, helps you with energy.
Shoot, I need to take your advice. I love grits. Pot roast or meatloaf?
Pot roast. I grew up with it in Middle Tennessee, and I love it.
See, I knew. Why did I know that you were going to say that?
You did.
What's in your Spotify, or Apple Music, or your iPhone now that you're listening to?
I love all music. I pull up music that the kids listen to because I want to know what they're listening to. Mine's country, because I grew up in Middle Tennessee, 72 miles from Nashville, and I grew up on country music. So I'm George Strait and Eric Church, and I mean, that's just who I am.
You know, a few years ago, I'm from Texas, so I like country music too, but my guy is Chris Stapleton.
Yeah.
I want to see him live. He is so good, and I love his story, Coach. Didn't believe he was a great singer, but his wife and everybody around him kept pushing him because he was a great songwriter. Now he's, I mean, as big as he is, and still doesn't think he's a great singer.
Charles, we have a charity in Austin, Mack, Jack, and McConaughey, with Matthew McConaughey and Jack Ingram, and Chris came and played 2 hours, killed it. I mean, killed it, and worked his rear end off. And after it's over, I walk in, he's got his boots off, and he's pulling his socks off, and he's just a guy. But I love the way he worked, and she was pregnant, and he came anyway. While she was getting ready to have a baby, because he was so committed to doing what he said he would do for the charity. But he kills it. Yeah. He kills it.
Well, I'm going to let you score here. This is easy. Grandkids. What do you like to do with the grandkids when they're in town with you?
My granddad was the most influential person in my life, changed my life completely, so I want to be him.
Okay.
I want to be my grandfather to our grandkids. And what I do is each one of them's got something different and special. So we have a place in the mountains the whole family comes to in July, for July 4th. They come to every bowl game. It's one of the things I love about bowl games. They get to come to practice. And they get to watch Pops on TV. When they were younger, I was doing the ESPN stuff. I was in Connecticut, and one of them, Sally told one of them, little Tyler, one of our grandkids, there's Pops. And he said, nope. He's in Connecticut. I said, no, there's Pops. And he said, no, Pops is in Connecticut. That's not him. But they're in that box. So it's been fun, and it's fun. I pick games with them. I go fishing with them. I love to take them to do fun things. I'm just that happy grandpa that they all like. And like one of them said one time, Mom and Dad, can I have some chocolate milk before I go to bed? No, it's not good for you. It's too late, and it's too much sugar. And Nana, Sally, can I have some chocolate milk? No, you can't do it.
They came to you.
Pops. I said, come on, let's get our chocolate milk. And they said, you can't do that, Dad. And I said, yes, I can.
You like in Yellowstone. You like Kevin Costner with this.
There's no question. They know as long as it's not going to hurt them, they come to Pops. Pops going to get it done for them.
That is so good. Well, Coach, it's good to have you on the Chopping It Up with Buck show. We have been excited to have you, and I'm looking forward to watching you guys this year. And thanks a lot again for coming on the show.
Thank you, Charles. Appreciate who you are, our friendship. My life's better because you're in it. And you go back and look at the Terry Donahues, and you look at the Greg Robinsons, and you look at the Coach Royals, and you look at all the people that we've been so blessed to be around. A lot of them now we're losing, and we got to carry it on. Good people have to step up, and we talk about all the bad things in the world. We got to keep moving forward with positives, and that's what I told these kids. You're our future.
Yeah.
So come on, man, do what you're supposed to do it right, do it with a smile, and let's get this thing turned back in the right direction as a country.
Yeah, I love what you're doing with that because I think that's important. Don't shy away from it. If you go straight at it, kids understand and they know it's authentic. And I think that's why when I've always been around you, we've had some real good discussions, whether we agree on everything. That's not the piece, but the part of it is that we can come away from that knowing I'm better because I had this conversation with you and vice versa. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, because I've learned that you can agree to disagree. That's what we say, it's a free country, and then I get mad because you say something. But you're right. You can say whatever you want.
If it makes you think something else, because and you said that earlier, the locker room taught me that I need to be open to understanding what somebody else feels and how they feel and what they think. I might not agree with it, but then we can sit down and we're gonna break bread together because you're together for 6, 7, 8 months.
Yeah,
you
we
gotta
teach each other.
Yeah.
And I thought the other thing I've learned, Charles, is sometimes it's not what I say that's important, it's what you hear.
Yeah.
And what I said, and you hear it differently than I meant it, I've told these kids now, we're not gonna lie to you. So if you hear something you think we lied to you, come and ask us.
Yeah.
Because we didn't. It's a misinterpretation somewhere.
Yeah.
And that happens with people. So it's not what I say, it's what you hear. So before they ever get up and walk out, and I say, what'd you hear? I won't know what you heard, because it may not be what I said. A lot of times I'll say, here, the 4 things you're doing great. This is a concern. I like it. He said, you yelled at me for doing this. I said, no. Let's go back to the 4 positives.
Yeah.
And that's where we're all different.
Yeah.
We all have different makeups, and we're raised differently. So that doesn't mean we can't come together to make some wonderful decisions moving forward. And that's where we are with this team. I've told them, you're too good. We got too good a staff and too good of a team, players, not to play good. So it's our responsibility to push you and make you uncomfortable and get you in positions you need to be in to start turning this thing around and start winning. And that's what we're going to do.
Well, I'm going to let you get at it, Coach. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Charles.